All right. The time has started. You're trapped in here for the next 59 minutes, 53, 52. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hi. There's more than 5 people here, so it's a win. Thank you very much for spending part of your Sunday with us. And welcome to What Does Kingdom Hearts Mean to You? A panel where we're going to talk more than you probably want.
No way.
Hi, I'm Marshall. There's a presentation. It's over there. But yeah, I am one half of the premier Kingdom Hearts podcast, Kingdom Hearts by Heart. I exist. I talk probably way too much about card games. I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Squake, or Squake, Nick, whatever you want to call me. I'm a Twitch and YouTube content creator for the past 8 years, previously an editor and writer for StreamerSquare.com, and big Kingdom Hearts fan. I've played them almost annually since the games came out. I've played them too many times, and I have a microphone, and I'm going to make it everybody's problem.
This is my one regret. Maybe 2 regrets.
2.
All right, and I'm the last guy. I'm Kevin. The other half of Kingdom Hearts by Heart. Yes, also, I guess lifelong fan of the fact that I played the series from the beginning. And yeah, I had this crazy idea, let's start a podcast and talk about this game that we like a lot. I also had a YouTube channel that was kind of Kingdom Hearts focused, but that kind of went the way of the dodo. We won't spend too much time on that. But yeah, now I'm here to talk to all these lovely people about it. So, yeah, super excited to be here and to pour our hearts out.
For a little bit of podcast deep lore, I guess also really quickly about the pod, super quickly, we're just wrapping up Recoded right now, but we play the games semi-seasonally, so we've done 1, Calm, 2, Days, BBS, and Coded. So Coded's going to wrap up. We'll do Dream Drop Distance sometime in the future.
Yeah.
But for the deep lore of the pod, Kevin, we talked about it for a while, and you're really gung-ho about it, and I said, this is probably one of few projects I can jump on that I won't be the sole driving force, because I know you would do a lot of the work, and the roles have shifted since then.
Yeah, as we get into well, I don't want to cause too much of a fuss, but the less fondly remembered games, the pendulums have swung a bit.
You literally said you're going to lambaste Chain of Memories right before everybody walked in.
Every single time you replay these games.
Let's not get too crazy. We don't want to turn people away.
Speaking of Chain of Memories, because I think a little audience participation is fun, it'll just be raising your hands. I just like data, kind of, so I do need to talk closer to the microphone. Super quickly, raise your hand if you've played all, if not most, of the Kingdom Hearts games so far.
Whoa! Nice.
Ooh.
Very nice.
All right, put your hands down. If you've played maybe about half of them, you've played a good amount of them at least. Okay, much less of a showing. Who has played none or maybe one of them?
Wow.
These are the real heroes right here. So yeah. We're going to talk on specific story beats. We're not going to spoil the entirety of the game so far. So you should be mostly free if you want to, afterwards actually participate and play the games. But yeah, we'll get things kicked off. Mm-hmm. So I think the first general thing we wanted to kind of brush over is what is the general appeal of Kingdom Hearts? Because it's a wacky Japanese crossover franchise, which is fairly common in Japan, but I feel like outside for I guess Western audiences, it's kind of just got an eyebrow raise factor to it. So but this series is now 20 years old. So what is the?
It's older than that.
Stop reminding me. Age like milking over here. But yeah, you want to kick that off?
I will kick that off. So the question being, what is the appeal of Kingdom Hearts? And I think that has 2 different answers. When it first started, it was, why is Cloud with Mickey and Donald? That was the first time I saw it in a magazine. It was a Square Enix magazine or something like that. It was an off-brand something in like 2002 or 2001, and I remember seeing Sora with Tarzan, and I was blown away by the fact that that was even a possibility, and I was immediately hooked and started following it until it came out. So that was really, I think, the initial appeal. After that, I think after 20 years, that's kind of faded, and right now it really is the nostalgia factor, because a lot of us have played since the PS2, since Kingdom Hearts 1, making sure that that was some of our first games on that console. It certainly was for me. After the PS2 came out, that first Christmas is when I got that, and Kingdom Hearts, and no memory card, because my parents didn't know that was I have replayed Destiny Islands twice as many times as I had played the game, because I just would reset every single night just because I needed to play it, but I didn't get a memory card until like a week later.
I didn't know this was therapy. Sorry.
I'm letting it out. But I loved it. I loved every moment of it. I would get to Traverse Town or a little bit further than that, and then once I got a memory card, it was smooth sailing. But it really, like, that is a funny memory now. That nostalgia is there for me. Like, I can laugh about it now and make sure that we are able to go through, but I still think very fondly on that. So I think the first part is kind of the WTF, and now it is a part of our lives where it's been around more than half of our lives for a lot of us.
Awesome, you stole the point that I mentioned to you right before people walked in. Thanks for that.
I didn't mean to, sorry.
No, you totally did. So I guess I can present my answer, and also kind of two parts. So I still believe, I think it's still like the WTF factor of it all. Also, this is a family-friendly panel. Reminder for myself, us, and for anybody approaching the microphone later. But yeah, I still think it's kind of crazy that, again, Goofy from only an extremely goofy movie, and Cloud Strife only from Final Fantasy VII Advent Children Complete are in the same universe together. But I also think at this point, again, the game series is 20 plus years old, I feel like a lot of people I know have gotten into it via recommendation. So being hounded by people probably like us that you should play this game, which spans too many now you have like your HD remixes in your collections and the story thus far. So they're kind of bundled, but I remember like back in the day, like in the late 2000s, early 2010s, it was like, do you own these 3 systems? Would you like a somewhat interconnected story?
A new system for every game that came out. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that hurts a little bit.
Yeah. Kevin?
Yeah, +1 to all the above. Yeah, I mean, I know when it came out, the first game, and I found out about it. For me, it wasn't even, it's Disney and Final Fantasy, because I didn't really know what Final Fantasy was. For me, it was, who's this dumb kid with a giant key sword? Like, that looks like the stupidest thing ever. But how naive I was. So yeah, I got hooked. And yeah, I think that's definitely, the wackiness of it kind of propulsed it in those first few years. But I think now it's almost like reached that critical mass, like, I don't know, like a Pokemon or like, I don't know, like these really big series where either you like it or you don't at this point. So like if you haven't played it, you're probably like, I feel like I need to check this out to see if, it's my bag, or if it's like, no, it's as dumb as I thought it would be. Because like, if you read Kingdom Hearts comments online, like, people have very strong stances. Like, there's no in-between if you actually have any, familiarity with it. So I think now it's just, you're in it for life, or it's just not for you.
It's at the point where everybody knows the name at this point.
Yeah. And also, the Disney factor definitely plays a part in it. I'd be very curious for any younger audience members, like, how that factors in, like if that kind of makes it more appealing to you, like seeing Elsa in Kingdom Hearts, like that's got to be a big deal versus when we were growing up, it was, the much older Disney properties. But I wonder, like a Pokemon where, each gen brings in new kids, like does Kingdom Hearts have that factor of bringing in, new kids, which, with this bonkers plot, how do they get over that? I'd be very curious because, the only people I know who play it are my age. And for the people who do like it, which I imagine is a good amount of us in this room today, there's this TikTok, which I was considering whether or not to include it in the presentation, but it's the caption is like, what does emotional neglect look like growing up? And it's just a person just like pouring out their whole collection of Kingdom Hearts games. And I think that's a big factor to it. Like, it's a very emotional game. It's about feelings, as we will get into. And yeah, so I think, that's something very powerful as far as the nostalgia factor. Like, I felt these really strong feelings about this one particular thing, and yeah, that sort of thing sticks with you. So it's kind of like an ogre, right? It has layers. Lots and lots to.
Do you think we're not going to make a Shrek reference this entire panel? Excuse me?
Yeah, we got it out of the way now, so we're good.
Perfect. So very quickly, you get to hear us vamp for, again, way too long. So we've each picked some key moments in the series that kind of stand out to us, what that kind of means to us, and also to the game characters themselves. So we're going to go through a few of those. We will attempt to leave some time at the end, so people, if you have a similar feeling or contradiction to what we've said, honestly, you can, we'll have handheld mics going around, but you'll be able to share some key story moments that maybe you loved that we didn't get around to talk about. So, yeah. So I'll kick things off first. Sorry, not sorry. But yes. Hi. For context, so this is from Kingdom Hearts 2. Sora has spent the entire game looking for Riku, his best friend, and King Michael J. Mouse.
Where Riku? Riku here? All right, on to the next world.
Truly. So this is towards the end of the game where we found Kairi, who's the other part of the original character trio, and Riku, who looks like one of the villains from the past game, and he walks away, and Kairi gets them to just hold hands for a bit. And Sora looks past the visage and sees truly his best friend. And, you all, at this point, the shippers especially know exactly. Riku's here. I looked everywhere for you. KH2 was 2005. I grew up in, I would say, a fairly...
2006 for us normies.
2006, correct. But, I had, a fairly conservative, area where I grew up in. So, where people, I would say... friends wouldn't express openly love for each other. So this is one of the first experiences where, as you two definitely know, I'm a very affectionate individual. But again, we were probably teenagers at this point, and I had honestly never seen something like that presented in my life and in media literally up until now. So it was kind of this connection in my brain of friends can love each other. You have potentially one person you spend the rest of your life with in a romantic sense, and maybe other people, but a love between friends, a platonic love for each other, was something I had never experienced and truly kind of opened my mind at that point. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first time I watched this scene, not first time, but when I would watch it as a kid, playing through the game, it did feel a little weird to me, why is Sora on his knees right now?
Well, it's funny because you see Kairi, who's supposed to be the supposed romantic interest, and they hug, and then he sees Riku and just truly breaks down as an individual.
It's such a stronger reaction. But for the purpose of this game, yes, he has been looking for him this whole time. So yeah, it's a lot of emotion, but now playing it as an adult, yeah, it hits different. Cause it's no, I get it. He's not afraid to show his feelings. And I think that ties to our original point of what's the appeal is there is a certain purity / wholesomeness, dare I say, of moments like this where it's the character's unfettered emotions, and sure, it's really cheesy and you can make fun of it for that. But at the end of the day, I think we need that sort of cheese every now and then, and just not being afraid to share, that we love people and that we choose light.
And I think the friendship is power aspect of it has become a joke at this point, but really when it came out at that time, it was very much fitting. It worked in the story, it worked as the story was progressing, as you're 30, 40, 50 hours into this game, however long it took you. That stuff has been building for that long, and so to have that moment of relief, and that everything has built up to this climax point of the story where like everything is starting to pay off and everything is like you're sensing the end is coming like of the game, and you didn't know that you'd be waiting 13 years for another game to come out, like to keep wrapping it up. It was very cool back then, and so I agree.
There's other games that came out before Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
All right, Kev.
Ooh, that's mine.
Yes.
So it's kind of like the opposite of the last moment. So when I was thinking about what are like my etched memories, I had to get in some KH1 representation because that's my favorite in the series. And when it came down to it, I think just the ending is the best way to summarize what is so good and memorable about this game. Cut back to little old 10-year-old Kevin, like this scene was like literally my Saturday night. Like I would replay the ending summon of this game, and that would be like a big deal to me. Just like going through the final boss gauntlet, seeing this cutscene, the credits, and like the where are they now with all the Disney characters, and then the simple and clean of it all, and the post credits, and then the end results screen, and just it's just like it's so many emotions. So for this moment in particular, which I think is kind of the crux of it, Sora leaves Kairi because he has to go find Riku. He says, "I'll come back to you, I promise." And then after that, you see the fruits of your labor, where all the worlds are restored because you did it. You beat the bad guy and you saved the day. And so it's on one hand, it's this really positive ending because you did it, you saved everything. But on the other, Riku's MIA and we're leaving Kairi behind. So it's a very bittersweet ending, which I think is an emotion or like an emotional story beat that like I hadn't really seen up until that point. So it's like a lot of conflicted emotions inside you, but that's what makes it stick with you all this time. So it's just like, just reflecting on the journey thus far, but then also getting pumped for what comes next, because I think KH1's ending in particular strikes that like the best balance between it's closed enough to be a satisfying ending on its own, but also like the story could go pretty much anywhere from here.
Yes.
It might go to a weird memory wipe castle. Who knows? And there's enough to like speculate on what that ending could be, especially once you get into the secret endings. So this just blew my mind as far as, oh my gosh, like I love this game so much and I had such a good time with it, but also I'm so excited to see what happens next. So that's my moment.
Yeah, I feel like that wraps up. Like welcome to most of our podcasts. Kevin says something, I say, yeah, I reinforce that point. But truly, because KH1 was an open and closed book at that point. There's the okay, we have to find Riku. Riku is somewhere, but there is one dangling thread that can go off in a single direction. Not the I wouldn't call some of the endings cliffhangers, but there's very much there's going to be a game after this one mentality to a lot of the other endings. I think 2 is a similar one, but 1 has the very again, you said poignant, pretty bittersweet. Like there is resolution, and there's still some part of the journey left to discover. And 20 plus years later,
we're still going.
I think I'm just going to keep repeating it. Bittersweet is like the best way to put it. And I think Kingdom Hearts has really nailed the bittersweet endings because especially in the first game, like the entire point was to try and find Riku and Kairi. And you start seeing Riku that he's kind of been absorbed by the darkness. You're fighting him a few times, so you see where he is for most of the game. But the most of Kingdom Hearts 1, you're seeing Kairi walking around that corner in Traverse Town, but she's like not all there, or she might not be real, or she's in the corner of this world, and like we don't know what's going on. She's with Maleficent or something else, and so she's always just out of reach. And so you think that it would be building up to this big point at the end where you reunite with her, happy ending, Disney ending that you'd expect, but really you're torn away at the very end, which I definitely was not expecting. I thought it would be a pretty open and shut case of see the princess, save the princess kind of that. And then it didn't, and it shocked me. And then they have continued to have those bittersweet endings, but still make it enough or different enough with each game where you're still satisfied with like, okay, I'm glad I spent 50 hours playing this game. I'm really excited for the next one.
Yeah.
And one final point on all this is I think just Sora's personal character growth, like this moment where he's letting go of Kairi, who has been the person he's been searching for the whole game, I think just shows a level of maturity in him and just a character growth that you don't really see throughout the rest of the series. But I think that's powerful because, you know, we were kids when we played the game. So I think seeing another kid, like, being able to make this very grown-up decision at the end is also another, like, whoa, like, I feel like I'm, like, like,
To
reading
go
high
from-
literature here.
To go from slacker kids that kind of wanted to run away a little bit
you lazy bum.
to, you know, to here we are now, essentially.
Yes,
So, yeah.
exactly.
Alrighty.
This is mine. Immediately when I first thought of like picking a moment were the 1,000 Heart battles in both Kingdom Hearts 2 and then Kingdom Hearts 3, which I think 3 was the 10,000 Heartless battle or
Yes.
something like that. I think it was.
The audience is nodding. That means they're correct.
Okay, all right, I'm good. So mostly focusing on the Kingdom Hearts 2 battle. That is probably, I'd say, the midpoint of the game, or like ending towards the second act. And it, on the PS2, blew my mind. It's just the fact that I had never really heard of like the Dynasty Warrior games before, and so seeing that many enemies on screen, even if looking back now you see most of them are just jumping PNGs that are just floating up and down in the background until they start spawning in. Obviously the system couldn't handle that, but going through that probably 10-minute scene of just never-ending onslaught of enemies, it was incredible. You really had to go through everything, all of your abilities, wait for cooldowns, and it just felt like a gauntlet, kind of like the 13 boss ending of Kingdom Hearts 1 that you were talking about. Like, you are just going and going and going. And some people might have thought that was the end of the game right there, and then there was still so much more after that. I'm really glad that they revisited that in Kingdom Hearts 3, even though you had the amusement rides, like you had the train that you could only use twice in that game for some reason, which that felt cheap, but knowing that you could fly around and then shoot everything and see that rack up to 1,000
Oh, it's
or
still
10,000.
awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. Like, I wish that they would use that more, but I am a big cheerleader of those attractions in Kingdom Hearts 3. Love that feature, and it was cool to see that kind of feel rare enough to be brought back for Kingdom Hearts 3. And so just those battles blew me away every single time.
Yeah. I give props to you guys, because I kind of gave them a template of, like, here's what I'm going for. And immediately I got, like, 13 different questions about, can I do this? Like, what's kind of, like, what are the borders I could poke and prod and just make bigger? And I applaud you for picking moments I wouldn't even consider. But yeah, I feel like despite the pre and post of both of those battles, definitely, the gameplay of it is a complete onslaught. Like I said, it's like a 10-minute endeavor where you're trying to figure out, mind you, it's a lot of, I wouldn't say completely mindless, but again, it's the overwhelming odds against you. And I don't remember the 3 fight as vividly as 2, but I know at least 2, you spent the entire game with 2 party members. There's a moment prior to this we may possibly get around to, but you've thrown in just as Sora, at least for the Battle of 1,000 Heartless. So you're truly at odds against kind of the world. Yeah.
It's good. And it sort of set the benchmark for the series. I mean, not the whole Hollow Bastion second visit as a whole, but like anytime you like read about, especially with Kingdom Hearts 3 when that came out, like people would like constantly compare it to this moment, like, oh, like I was expecting this to happen in KH3. So like for a lot of people, like this moment has not been topped. So yeah, it was definitely a very big like spectacle, like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. So yeah, it's a good choice.
Yeah, and it kind of shows how a gameplay that's probably, or a moment that's probably mostly gameplay can still have kind of, again, like a story beat and an interaction in itself almost. So yeah. Alrighty, Kevin, are you sick of Kingdom Hearts Recoded yet? Be honest with me.
What?
How much do you love Kingdom Hearts Recoded on the Nintendo DS family of systems?
It's got its ups and downs. I'll give it it's a solid B tier, maybe C. Yeah, it's something you play on and
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
Cool. This is probably definitely mostly inspired by the fact we've just wrapped up Recoded. So, again, for context, this game...
Yeah, give them context.
Shut up.
On Recoded.
This game takes place within Jiminy Cricket's journal of the first game that they turn into a datascape and there's bugs everywhere. So they create a digital version of Sora to go through. They want you to replay Kingdom Hearts 1 for the third time. And sneak preview of probably the next 2 episodes that are going to come out. I did really enjoy revisiting this game. I despised it probably when it came out, and I enjoy it a lot more now as an adult. But one of my points that we've riffed about, we've made fun of a million times over the course of the past probably month or so, is the fact that Data Sora is kind of just literally thrown into literally everything. Like, again, like he, I don't know, is born, and then immediately the voices of Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and Goofy are like, go do things. I am a god. You will listen to us. But so it's a lot of Sora, but without the background, without the context, without the memories, literally. So a lot of the game reinforces like memories you have, and sort of, I call it like and the game does too actually, like feelings in your heart. Like there are definitely moments in my life I have absolutely no recollection of, but have left kind of like these marks and probably literal scars on my heart. So there are things that I wouldn't say triggering is a word, but things that make you kind of reminisce to a certain degree, things you've probably forgotten about, completely honestly. And so I think this game does a lot of, and towards the end, minor, not really spoilers, Sora basically says, if it's for my friends, I'll take on as much hurt as I can, if it means that this hurt that I'm feeling right now causes me to remember something, whether it be a mistake that's been made or kind of a moment in time where you feel like you could have done better or something different. So I feel like this speaks to, we're some of us are little adults at this point. So I feel like I've experienced that moment a lot in life where I've seen something maybe of my own actions or just as a consequence and been like, cool, well, this is the point where I want to adapt and progress into being a better person. So I think a lot of the end of Recoded specifically harkens on that, and particularly like this screenshot, like as Data Sora learns about the hearts hidden within real Sora's heart, but real Sora isn't here to hear any of this information, hence why Mickey Mouse has to send a letter that transcends space, time, and the ocean to get to the original main characters.
You are making this up. Oh god. I have seen the cutscenes of Recoded. I never actually played the game. So this is where I'll jump in and say this is very interesting to see kind of how everything does come together with that.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. But with that, yeah, like that is one of the more overlooked games because it was on the DS and then it didn't get remastered as part of the PS3 collections or PS4 collections after that. So it was very interesting to kind of go through those cutscenes, even though I felt like the format in which they showed that was a little broken or a little bit hard to follow, along with 358 over 2 days. Mm-hmm. Just the fact that there were stakes in a game like this that is generally overlooked, that is very interesting to see how that all makes sure that it does connect in one way or another, and how deep it can get, and that must have been something that I missed, and so I think that's a good choice.
Yeah, there's a little weird back and forth of, we talked about this way too much, like there's Data Sora and Data Riku and the memories they experience, which regular Sora and Riku have absolutely no idea what's happening. But yeah, there's a lot of like things could get really bad here, and eventually the day is saved. But yeah, there's a lot of in betwixt that does get lost in the HD cutscenes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is an interesting pick because, yeah, even the weird little game like Recoded can have like this really poignant moment of like just thinking about your own personal experience. Because I think we can all relate to this idea of like these like moments that like you remember the feeling, you don't remember what happened exactly, but like you can like call back to how you felt like in an instant. And yeah, like I think you could like write a whole like Kingdom Hearts and philosophy book probably, because like these are actually really deep themes. Like once you start to uncover them, there's just a lot of spiky anime hair on top of it they have to get through first. But yeah, it is interesting when you think about it. So it's like, okay, this game does have something to offer other than just being the weird in-between of Kingdom Hearts 2 to Dream Drop Distance, and then we don't care about it anymore. So, yeah.
All right, Kevin, explain. Literally, Kevin's like, can I pick like moments that happened like outside the game, like a trailer reveal or something? And I'm like, I did not expect any of that, and I expect no less from you. Go wild.
I'm interested.
Yeah, so speaking of feelings that stick with you forever, yeah, I can't really pinpoint Peter Piper. All right. I couldn't choose just one specific moment for Kingdom Hearts 2, so much as just the general feeling of Kingdom Hearts, like just finding out Kingdom Hearts 2 was a thing. Specifically, going on to, it was probably like IGN.com, back when that site was actually good. And just finding out that, yeah, there's a whole new game, and here are all these awesome things, and here's all this Japanese gameplay footage, and just not understanding any of this. Like, wait, it's coming out in Japan before here, but I want to play it now. Like, how do I get to play it? What's going on? And then just poring over all these screenshots and gameplay videos and just obsessing, basically, and like going to the Kingdom Hearts 2 website, and it was like playing the music from the Deep Dive secret trailer, which is really good if you don't know what it is. But like, it's like epic and exciting and awesome, and it's like, oh my gosh, so my mind was just blown. But I chose this moment in particular from the Jump Festa 2005 trailer, because I watched this trailer so many times. And I have so much of the dialogue just burnt into my brain, like, Jisan Kikan, which is Organization 13 Japanese.
Okay.
I'm sure.
I was about to ask, who is Susan?
I'm sure. And yeah, like the stuff they go over in this trailer, it just like really just expands the story in all these interesting ways, because it shows Roxas and Naminé and Diz and all these people in black coats, and you see like a bunch of the new Disney worlds, and you see Sora and this awesome new outfit, and you're just like, what's happening? But I chose this very specific moment of the Cerberus reaction command when Sora leaps up in the air and then charges and then just slams down and knocks him out, because I feel like it's like the perfect like contrast between Kingdom Hearts 2 and 1. Where in Kingdom Hearts 1, Cerberus, like, he was a big boy and he messed you up and he was really scary as a child, but now you're seeing Sora just like annihilate him basically, and you're like, oh my god, like, why is he so much more powerful? This looks so good. And yeah, just getting so excited for it, and just waiting so long, and like, this is probably the most hyped I've ever been for a video game, minus Kingdom Hearts 3, but those are two sides of the same coin. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that it's a very much a core memory that's just shaped my personality, sense of just how I consume media and get excited about things. So yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. I can't think of a particular example right now, but there's definitely some trailers. Again, less as we get older and are more occupied with things in life, but especially like younger, obsessing over like, when is this thing coming out? When is this thing coming out?
Yep.
Like a true hyperfixation.
Yeah.
Probably literally a problem, but nonetheless.
Yeah, it's so funny because by the time I found out about this, it was probably like, it couldn't have been more than a year out of when the game actually came out, but it felt like an eternity versus now waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3, for example, where it's like, yeah, it consumed my life. So yeah, this one stuck out to me, and it was a very close tie between this and then the very first English commercial for Kingdom Hearts 2, when Sanctuary was playing over it, and like you see like the actual English cutscenes with like the command menu, and you're like, okay, it's happening, it's real, it's gonna be in stores soon, like I can't wait. So yeah, just in general, like the excitement for it all, just.
I forgot that I would check that website. Like, it was every Tuesday or something. It would update once a week, and they would show a new world or a new character or something like that, and I would religiously check at noon or whatever the time it would be. And I remember the Japanese version of the site would update like 45 minutes before then, and so everyone would jump on the Japanese version of the site, they would start translating it, and then the English site would go live. I think that only happened a few times, but I can't think of any other games other than maybe Super Smash Bros. Brawl that would do a system like that, where like every day they would update, or like every weekday they would show a new item, new assist trophy, something like that. We can get into Smash Brothers with this another time, but with this, like, I remember just being glued to that website, knowing the exact schedule. I completely forgot about that.
Again, memory, feelings in your heart, right here. Alrighty.
This is mine. Oh yes, yeah. Let me hear it. Yes, that's exactly the correct reaction. I'm so sorry. Kingdom Hearts 3. Spoilers. It came out 5 years ago, but we did talk about. I'm sorry. We did talk about like if there are people who have not played this game. I'm sorry. With this is probably one of the most emotional points in the series for me, at least, after waiting so long for Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out, starting with Kingdom Hearts 1. Aqua has been in the Land of Darkness for about 10 years now. Like, in-game, 10 years, a decade away from all of her friends. There have been multiple attempts to try and get her out. It does not work. She's clearly fighting against us. She's caving to everything, and it is a long, long time to be without her friends from Birth by Sleep. About 2/3 or 3/4 of the way through this game is where, after multiple Aqua fights in the Land of Darkness?
In the Realm of Darkness.
Realm of Darkness, thank you.
Yeah.
She's finally out, and she lands on the beach of Destiny Islands. She looks around, she sees Sora, Donald, Goofy, Mickey, a few other people, Terra.
Riku. That's it, yeah. Just
Okay,
those 5.
yeah, there's a few people there, enough people where she's not alone, and she asks, I just watched this again a couple of days ago, when did Destiny Islands fall to darkness? And they all just kind of look at each other, they say, what? No, Destiny Islands didn't fall, you were home. And she, visibly starts crying, tears go down her face, everyone else starts crying, and they just say, welcome home, and all of them dogpile on her and hug her. It is the sweetest moment, and it made me emotional watching it again, even though I had seen it so many times. That moment, again, I've said it a few times, of just building up story and then having that payoff. Amazing. Love this.
Yeah, because even... the secret episode of Birth by Sleep, Aqua falls into there. The final episode, you play a little bit as her traversing this weird world where you see some of the Disney worlds you literally just saved, and something bad probably happened here.
With 0.2.
Yeah.
For 1 hour, and this happens.
And then you making this point reminded me to go back and watch a few things. Because, she is truly, the best way to say it is just trolled by darkness for truly 10 years. Like an absolute distress on the mind, essentially. Yeah. So, having all of that happen, and then, she has such the mentality of, there's no way I can be home. There's no way I can be, safe now. And the minute she realizes that, and just, similar to the first point we made of, just collapses and, everything's going to... Yeah.
I went back and forth one of my moments. I was going to choose the 0.2 Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage.
Or real title.
Opening cutscene, which is basically this moment where at the very end you get the shot of... It's all very ethereal, right? But it's Aqua, rising to the surface of the water, and she sees her reflection, but then she sees beyond that Sora's hand reaching for her, and then you get the shot of his hand reaching for hers, which they do replicate in Kingdom Hearts 3, and it makes me feel things.
Nice. So we have some final 3 points. We'll probably go through a little quicker, so we have time for folks to... My people! So, whether you prefer to say Axel or Lee, I say Lee, but one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite relationships. This is very biased. And so I guess for context, this is Axel / Lee and Sayak / Isa. They have different names depending on which incarnation, and I won't go into details because the panel will end after that. But this is in the finale of KH3. They're on opposite sides. Axel / Lee is now on the side of good, and then Sayax is still with the evil organization. Truly just the Kingdom Hearts Mafia. I'm just going to be real about that. And right before the final act, Sayax finds Lee. They have a conversation about how they used to be friends, and truly that bridge has been crushed completely. It's been set to fire, blown up 1,000%. They still kind of care for each other, but they're truly on opposite sides of the war, and it kind of just is what it is at this point. Cut to maybe a few hours of gameplay later. Sayax is now essentially dying, but will be reincarnated very shortly after. Don't think about that. But they have this back and forth, and he brings up the fact that Axel / Lee helped him get higher in the organization so they could find their weird friend who we don't really even know about in Kingdom Hearts lore present day, and I'm going to ignore that part because my brain is currently on fire just thinking about it. But they had this back and forth where Sykes is like, well, I rose in the ranks to try to find our friend. I burning the candle at both ends, truly like trying to do something, and you went off and you made a bunch of new friends and you left me alone. Hence why this divide currently is. And then Axel actually responds with, I did not forget you. And then Sykes kind of finally just admits, like, you were able to go out, make other friends, have other connections. I was by myself, and I was jealous. And he is the very much like the stubborn person who will never, like, truly just resting bee face. Like, there's like not much, you don't know what's going on behind the eyeliner a little bit. But this is the one time he kind of truly opens up and says, here is currently what I'm going through internally. And I think there's definitely, in real life, we have relationships and friendships that I would say dissolve just due to distance or due to, again, like schedules and other things. But at the end of the day, we still don't forget those people. Those people leave a mark on us as truly as individuals. And even if that relationship is irreparable or somewhat non-existent, there's still something behind it at the end of the day.
I think that Kingdom Hearts 3, the way they formatted wrapping up all of these stories is one thing where, like, you fight 3 organization members at the same time as one perishes, you get a cutscene for it. I think this one is absolutely the one that stands out the most. Like, on top of, or aside from maybe Ventus.
That was my parallel to this. Is I was going to do the Wayfinder trio reuniting because it breaks me as a human being.
Yeah, but those two were so close together. It was just a gut punch every single time, and really, this one I think had the most gravity to it completely because you see Sykes so much. You make sure they build upon that relationship in Birth by Sleep. Like they make sure that they get that special attention, and then to see it culminate like this was really heartbreaking.
Yeah, and it kind of touches on the idea of like bittersweet, although they kind of control Z it with the ending. It's like a pretty tragic moment in the midst of all these very happy reunions, but it's like you can't have all these happy endings. Like not everyone gets to, live on, so to speak.
Yeah, I think Lily says the line after he admits he was jealous. He's like, if I come back a second time, you won't get that out of me again.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
That contrast. Okay, this one is me. This is a very similar moment to my previous one about the Kingdom Hearts 2 trailer. It's just encapsulation of the hype for Kingdom Hearts 3 for me. Specifically, it was the Monsters, Inc. reveal trailer.
Yeah.
Which is funny because when for those who know, Monsters, Inc. was actually leaked ahead of time, where we got to see like the weird polygonal models, and I was like, that can't be real. Like that sounds kind of lame. So I wasn't really interested in the world until I saw this trailer. I was like, wait, actually, that looks really charming. And it ended up being like my favorite trailer that they released, because beyond that, it just showed off so much of like the story and all these new gameplay features, and like the Keyblade transformations and everything. And it's all in Japanese, so everything just sounds way cooler. So Monsters, Inc., the villain of the week, you could say, is Vanitas. So in the trailer, they're playing this new orchestrated version of Vanitas' theme, which is one of the best tracks across the series. So again, I summarize my feelings all in this one moment where the music track culminates in this operatic burst where the vocals come in, and it's as Sora's like doing all these crazy Keyblade transformations, and for me it's just like this moment where everything clicked of like, oh my god, like this game is real. Like they're showing all this gameplay, like it looks so polished, and like the story's coming along, and it's like all these callbacks to all the other games in this series, and just like blowing my mind, like, okay, yeah, no, this is actually happening. And the reason it stuck with me is because, again, like it's one of, if not the only games since Kingdom Hearts 2, honestly, that's like been able to tap into that childlike wonder. So like this idea of like hype, right? Like, I don't really feel that anymore because of the state the
Because we're
AAA
dead inside.
video
Yes, you
games
can say it out
industry is.
loud.
Yeah, also internal factors. But like this moment had it and still has it. Like I literally rewatch this trailer like every few months just to feel something.
Oh my gosh. So yeah. When you put this up, I was like, yeah, this was one of the first like truly meaty Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers that we got.
'Cause it was before this. It was like 30-second clips or a minute just of like random gameplay that didn't really mean anything. But this is when it was like in full swing. But I do have to laugh that at the end of the trailer it says Kingdom Hearts 3 coming. I think it says 2018, and I was like, oh, so we weren't there yet. But we were getting there.
I like to think you just like the trailers that show off the reaction commands, because these ones are just like so insane. Like, and so I think that these were the best showcase for the improvements from Kingdom Hearts 1 to 2, 2 to 3. I think that is what grabbed a lot of people, including myself, where I just seeing how much it upgraded, knowing that the wait was worth it, and that this was one of the worlds in particular that wasn't directly ripping the story off of the movie. It was really building its own thing. Toy Story did this too in Kingdom Hearts 3, and they did it really well. This and Monsters Inc. I loved these worlds so much, and being able to ride around on the doors of that world, flying through, it really felt like you were like in this big open area.
Yeah, you got the sense that they were doing the Disney worlds right. Like, oh wow, this isn't just like a backdrop of like, here's like a room that's kind of skinned like Tarzan. Like, it's like, no, they're like doing the thing in the movie and like adapting it well. So yeah, it just felt like we're in good hands. Like, no, this game's gonna be good, which maybe you feel differently nowadays, but at the time it was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be awesome.
And this is mine next.
Yeah.
I'm so serious.
I'm here for you. I'll help you.
I am so serious. This messed me up. This is right before the 1,000 Heart Battle in Kingdom Hearts 2. And I wanted to make sure that these were separate, and I'm glad you put these in separate parts of the presentation. Because looking back, he did not die. But when he got hit with a boulder to the head and got knocked out, and Mickey gets to say, they'll pay for this. You're off on your own, and then you have to go through all of Hollow Bastion on your own. The stakes felt so real. You're alone for the 1,000 Heart Battle. Like 13-year-old me, so we are 13 around this point.
Yep.
I 100% believed they killed Goofy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I could not believe it. And like, I think I remember screaming, I'm like, no, they didn't. And then the cutscene ended, and you're on your own. I'm like, I can't believe that they actually pulled this off. I was ready to take on the world with just Donald, who would not heal you at all. You would essentially be on your own. This stands out so much for me. It's so funny now, but my God, I love this moment.
No, absolutely. We replay Cage 2 2022? Fairly, again, the past
early
thing.
on.
Yeah. And every time,
For our
I still,
podcast.
there's the adult in me that's like, he just knocked out, just a fake out. And there is little me that is truly just like ravenous of like, they will pay for this. How dare they? It's super funny because there are like certain impactful moments, like I would specifically 1, 2, and 3 that involve Sora, Donald, and Goofy. This is definitely the one, for me personally, that really encompasses the trio of them. Because in Cage 1, I think the big moment is they kind of fight. In 2, it's this. In 3, it's them accompanying Sora to the final battle, essentially being like, we're kind of useless, and you're basically our adopted son, so let's go. But yeah, in this one, like, again, Mickey is like stoic, like he's been, did somebody mention the Door to Darkness? Like an hour earlier.
So good.
Yeah. Hi. I do that way too much on the pod. But yeah, like Mickey gets serious. Donald, right after this moment, literally, I can't do the Donald voice anymore, but like, Kevin is a good one. But Donald sprints off, like pissed off into the sunset, and Sora, you get up and you trot along. And to reinforce your point, they both leave your party, but in that ensuing prior to the party forming again, you get the Final Fantasy characters for a hot second in each like little instance fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
So it also kind of shows that even when you are kind of your most alone, there will still be other people there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty, so all right, so we have about 10-ish minutes left. We can dedicate like 7-ish, hopefully. I don't want to go over into the next time slot as the next panelist is staring directly at me. Hi, Eric. But yeah, if anybody has any moments they want to share, anything they want to... Okay, cool. There is a handheld mic. Do we... Oh, we have to select people. Orange bucket hat.
As much as I love Sora and Riku and Aqua and all those characters and their stories, one of the things that really attracted me to Kingdom Hearts, and still does to this day, is the Disney elements in the game, because I love Disney so much. And there was a show that I used to watch when I was a kid called House of Mouse. I love that show. This feels that niche of a crossover between all of them. So, yeah. That's what attracted me to Kingdom Hearts all those years ago and still does.
Woo!
Awesome, thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Denim jacket, or looking a little to your left.
You got that?
Yeah. Raise your hand. Yeah. I know you. What's up, man?
Oh, God.
Just put you guys on the spot real quick. What are your favorite games?
Kingdom Hearts VCast. Anyone remember VCast?
I hate you so much right now.
I'm gonna let you answer that again.
Okay. Kingdom Hearts 2 is my favorite by all, like very clearly, but yeah, I think it's the most complete package of a game. Absolutely love that one.
Yeah, we're old, so Kingdom Hearts 2 is going to be the favorite of choice.
I'm Kingdom Hearts 1.
How dare you be different? Opinionated even. Right here with the yellow mask.
Alright. For me, it is the FMVs at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Sort of before those games with concrete concepts, like the animated never became a thing, or Dark City before it was called Never Was. Those, and also Mickey being like Yoda and attacking clones occasionally.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Let's try to get one of the people in the back. Who's in the very, very back row, aisle seat? White maybe shirts. One more further down. Who's in the very back with their hand up? You're important too.
Yeah.
I think right in front of you. Sure.
Oh, hi, I'm Snorlax, by the way.
Hi, Snorlax.
So, for me, I actually used to cosplay as Roxas, and I had like the Keyblades. But replaying it recently, the whole Twilight Town tutorial from Kingdom Hearts 2, like, you know, I know that was like a prologue story that was set up to, you know, introduce Roxas and just all backstory of Axel and whatnot. But, you know, seeing like over the course of a few days, like how, you know, Roxas goes from, you know, having friends and, you know, living kind of his best life to, you know, now my summer vacation is over, like realizing he has to merge with Sora. Just the whole thing is very heartbreaking, and you know, I'm not just going to talk about sad moments, but then you know, in Kingdom Hearts 3, the fact that like, and even there's a moment in the 3D one, Great Rock Distance, where it's you know, where Sora is searching for Roxas, and you know, everybody is remembering him, and eventually, you know, he comes back to join the team. I just think that whole like storyline is really great, and just like, you know, as someone who's been through the darkness myself, just like knowing that there is light and knowing that, you know, people around you love you no matter how small the moments are.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. Even in Recoded, there's a bit where Data Roxas returns to Data Sora, and his fondest memory is again Twilight Town, and it speaks to that.
What's your name?
Roxas. But my first experience with Kingdom Hearts 2 with the Drive Forms is like a core memory that I have where I unlocked the like leveled it up, and I was like, you can level up Drive Forms?
It's so poorly explained.
For me. And I
Absolutely. Yeah.
Going back to, like you guys said at the beginning of the panel, like, I don't know, like it's all old people that play this game, but it's like, now that we're growing up, we get to see our kids and like see that same childlike wonder through their eyes. It's just like, it's incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, the person right next to you, come here. This person right here has been very vibrant, very excited. Go ahead, my friend.
Hey there. Alright, so one thing that I really like about Kingdom Hearts is just the fact that it crosses over, say, Final Fantasy, where you have all these eldritch horrors and things are not really right for kids, with a whole universe that is basically supposed to be family or child friendly, suddenly coming together into its own story. And what I also like about it is how after Kingdom Hearts was made, it gives the idea of what might be new in the sequel, as in what new entries from both sides can come in. So for Disney, you have Tron coming in, The Lion King, Monster. Then they got into Pixar, such as Monsters Inc. and Toy Story. And then for the Square Enix side, it's not just Final Fantasy in its games, but other games done by Square Enix.
Yes.
And so, like Einheimer, the big scrolling shooter, since I'm a big shoot 'em up fan. If there was, say, another sequel to come in, what entries from Disney or Square Enix would you want to see in it?
Do not go to me first. One of you two go first.
While giving you some time to think, I'll give you my suggestions. Well, for Disney, you may find this a bit surprising, and I'm not even sure how much it's going to incorporate. Recess.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's a deep cut.
Specifically schools out.
Yeah.
You know, the tractor beam, trying ninja warriors and all that.
I think they can definitely pull that off. Heading into Kingdom Hearts 3, there was a severe lack of Square Enix, and so I would love Final Fantasy 13 or Final Fantasy 16 crew or something like that. Like, I think that give them the spotlight more. There's a whole lot of personality there. I think that more of those squads, even just like 3 from here, 3 from there, even if they're together, kind of like how Riku, Yuna, and Pain from Final Fantasy X-2 were just little fairies in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
Just more cameos like that. They don't need to be playable. Just make them a part of the world. I would love that.
Yeah, I think to back off of what your one is, I think this will be the last question because we have 2 minutes left, so I'll answer really quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to see more of the weird, obscure, like Cloud's in there, Tifa's in there, Yuffie's in there. Like we got a lot of 7 and 8 rep, some 10 rep, but like give us the weird Final Fantasy characters that no one like. Every character has got to be somebody's favorite character. Give us just the weird little guys that like nobody's ever really heard about, like seeing Cypher and Setzer. As someone who one of 5 people who had played Final Fantasy VI to completion before that, being like, hey, I know those guys. I think it was cool.
Before you continue, I want to point out that for Square Enix, it's actually a few, particularly Star Ocean, the second story. It's not as big as Final Fantasy VII, but was a big one during the PS1 era, as well as Valkyrie Profile.
I like it.
Yeah.
Kevin, do you have a choice?
Oh, I was going to say Nier Automata would be awesome.
Near on a tomato.
That
Got
would
it.
probably
Now let's
be
get
way
one
too
final
complex.
question.
Okay.
So many questions. Hi, what's your name?
Currently,
Hello.
the thing I really love that drew me into figuring out all this stuff is just how complex and all theories around everything is in the game. And I just really, really love that complexity and just all the lore and figuring out all the stuff. I find it really cool.
Yeah, especially going into KH3 and now going into eventually Kingdom Hearts 4. We're in that same period of like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Right.
How's it going to play out?
All right, we have about 30 seconds left.
Eric, this is not my fault.
Talk about Aqua, just because we can talk a little bit about her.
Yeah.
The moment in A Fragmented Passage in the opening, where she's falling into darkness and she basically has protect on him, so
Absolutely, 100%. That is it for us. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here.
We love you all. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday with us.
Check out Kingdom Hearts by Heart, their recap podcast. My name is Squake. We will be right outside. If anybody has any more questions, memories, anything like that, I will be around. Thank you so much, everybody.
There is a panel survey if you would like to fill it out. It lets you know that, hey, maybe you enjoyed your time here. Who knows?